Our first meeting was in 2007 here. It was 36 degrees and raining, and then about 4 weeks ago, the Lieutenant Governor said, let's do it outdoors and let's really showcase everything that's going on here. And I said, perfect. And I said, what if it rains? And the Lieutenant Governor said, I'll take care of that. So, Lieutenant Governor, thank you. Welcome on behalf of the City of Lynn. We really did want to have it here. We wanted to showcase what is going on. This is phase 3, as you know. But as you look out, and if you're not from Lynn, and you think about Lynn, right, we really want to change your perception. This behind us is Lynn. And good things are about to happen. And we want to thank the Seaport Advisory Council. The Lieutenant Governor and the Governor not only supported this project, but $2.5 million for relocating the power lines right down the street, which opens up 200 acres of land to be developed. If phase 3 is approved today, that'll be a $5 million investment on a commuter ferry project right here. And then the marina, which is right over here to my right, recently $500,000 was awarded by the Commonwealth for needed repairs, and there's an application for further repairs on Lewis's desk. So it's been a true investment of not only the commuter ferry project, but for all of the waterfront. And things are about to change on our waterfront. So with that, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, we want to say not only thank you, but welcome in coming back to Lynn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, and it's good to be here with Senator McGee and Representative Nell and Representative Walsh. I just spoke with. He is going to be meeting a conference committee on healthcare, so he's going to solve that problem this morning. While we work our way through the agenda for the Seaport Council, but let me just say on behalf of the Patrick Fire Administration, working with the legislative delegation, our Gateway Cities agenda has formalized our efforts relating to investing in our cities, which are so important. Clearly, Lynn, we believe, has a lot of assets and tremendous upside with strategic investments, and we believe deeply that transportation is key to unleashing the economic potential of many of our communities, and Lynn being one of them. And that's why this project, working on the marina and other enhancements in and around transportation, are so important. This is a lot of communities that don't have this view of this waterfront, and we want to make sure we're working with the city, the mayor, the council, EDIC, everybody in the business community to maximize its potential, and that's what this is about. Hopefully we'll make some progress on that going forward today, this morning. We have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2012 meeting. In favor of those so voted. With that, we'll get an overview. Approval of the, we're going to have a presentation of the Blossom Street boat ramp reconstruction project overview. I believe Senator McGee. This says that on here. Where's Jim good?
No, it's coming first. All right. Next, I'm going to say a few words, then I'm going to let Jim kind of go through the presentation. But I just want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and the Seaport Council and the administration for getting us to this point. And as I think we walked out here today and looked at how this site has changed, it's just tremendous to see the opportunity. And again, what a beautiful day. But I'm hoping that on September of last year we had the headline, Lynn Ferry makes trial trip. We're hoping the next headline is going to be, when this is completed, Lynn Ferry makes initial trip of ferry service from the North Shore to Boston. So I want to thank you for the support and to help work with us on our vision for what we believe is a great thing for Lynn and for the North Shore. This is an exciting day, and we have exciting plans and exciting opportunity for what we see as a really great future for economic development, jobs, and more importantly, quality of life for people on Lynn on the North Shore. Thanks for your support. You've been great, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. Keep up the great work. And with that, I'd like to ask Jim Cowdell to come up, and he'll be able to make a presentation on where we go from here on the Blossom Street extension and the ferry, future of the ferry here in Lynn. Thank you again, Lieutenant Governor, and the whole council.
Thank you, Senator McGee. Some quick thank yous before we get into the presentation. Menino Construction is here. Nick, senior and junior, they did phase 1 and phase 2 of the project, so I just wanted to say thank you for their hard work. I think I saw Mike Driscoll, who is our ally and partner from DCR. He attended every single one of our meetings, project meetings on this, so I wanted to thank Michael. I also wanted to thank Lewis from the Seaport Council and Ellen obviously for all of their hard work. And Senator McGee made reference, but the state delegation, Steve Walsh and Bobby Fennell, we really work in partnership in this project. Before the city council, I saw Pete Capano is here today. This is his ward. He's been very instrumental in this. The city council and mayor transferred this land that we're here on to EDIC, so we wouldn't be here without their support, so thank you. Kind of old school, we usually do PowerPoint presentations, but this is a formal meeting of the Seaport Advisory Committee. We have a packet that we'll go through quickly before everybody melts. But on page 2, you get a vision of the city of Lynn from Revere. And you can see the land that has opened up because of the power lines relocating. And that's about 200 acres of oceanfront land. The city has a water master front plan that has been approved. It is ready for development. It's rezoned. Everything is ready to go. That will be a huge change in how you see the city of Lynn as you come in from Revere, and that's on page 2. Page 3, this project began in 2007. It was a 3-phase project. Phase 1 was approved by the Seaport Council for $750,000. Phase 1 was completed in 2008. Phase 2 is being completed in about 10 days. That was $1.6 million, also approved by you folks. On page 4, phase 1, and there's some pictures that follow because I wanted the council to see the work that was done. The boat ramp, which is to my left, was completely reconstructed. That's a public boat ramp. There was an old building when I was a kid. It was a bait shop that was standing behind this tent. It was been vacant for 20 years. That was torn down. The drainage work was done, all the upgrades, new asphalt, the parking was completed. And as you turn through the next few pages, page 5, you see a picture of that building that was here. Page 6, you can see the deterioration of the wall. Page 7, the parking lot, it just hasn't been used. It hadn't been used in a long time. Page 8, you can further see deterioration. 9, the wall was crumbling. And then on page 10, we get into phase 2. We provided protection to the deteriorating shoreline, consisting of a construction of a brand new steel bulkhead. We removed the deteriorating riprap. The bulkhead expansion increased the waterfront access from 60 feet to 150 feet along the bulkhead. And the bulkhead construction consisted of a tieback system as well as a cantilever system. And then the next several pages show the construction that Menino did in phase 2 and all the work that had gone on. So you can just kind of go through that and see the work that had been done and all of the work that was completed in phase 2. And today we're here for phase 3, which will consist of dredging. We'll be dredging about 4,000 cubic yards. We will have a wave attenuator built, which is very important. It'll be about 60 feet long. It will protect the vessels, the commuter ferry and so forth. We'll have a passenger vessel landing constructed. It'll be over in this corner where I'm pointing to my right. That's where the commuter ferry will be. We'll do the finalization of the upland improvements, sidewalks, park amenities, the final paving and striping, the lighting and power. All will be done in phase 3. If you turn to page 17, phase 3, it'll take about 12 months once we get the funding to complete phase 3. The commuter ferry, really, I want to emphasize this point. It will be able to operate 52 weeks a year. To Boston is only about 3 minutes of open water, so it really is a true commuter ferry that folks can use year-round from not just Lynn, but the entire North Shore to go to and from Boston. It will be able to accommodate 149 passengers. EDIC owns this entire parking lot. We will provide free parking for the commuters that are traveling in and out of Boston. On page 18 is the diagram showing phase 3 as completed. You'll note that the vessels parked there, the wave attenuator, the upgrades to the parking lot. And I know Mayor Driscoll is on her way, and she'll be here in a couple of moments, but page 19, it wouldn't be a presentation without this picture, which we started in 2007, which for the folks that don't have this picture, it's a picture of the Salem Ferry. We just photocropped and put Lynn Ferry on it, so I know Mayor Driscoll will appreciate that. We do that every time, but we really hope that you continue your support. This is critical to this area. When Senator McGee and the delegation, and myself and some of the EDIC board members and the mayor took a ferry trip to Hingham, you can see the economic development and the impact that it's had there. We will do the same here. It really will be positive for the city of Lynn. We appreciate your support. Ron Bourne is here to answer any technical questions that you may have, and that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Jim, just to go back to page 2, just in the waterfront today, the bridge coming into Lynn that's being worked on, it's a state bridge, right?
Yes.
Does it have a name?
We call it the General Edwards Bridge.
General Edwards Bridge? Okay. But I think that work getting done by MassDOT support, because it sets a tone as a gateway to the city. But in terms of, I think we were up here announcing that $2 million, I think it was the Moore grant for the power lines. But just in terms of the planning efforts relating to, I know it was mixed use, active passive recreation, potential some commercial development. Could you just give us an update as to where that kind of is?
Sure. So, in preparation of the lines being moved, the city passed a master waterfront plan. In that plan, the city has rezoned it. You could actually build by right without any city approval, 20 stories high, mixed use. We want the first floor to be commercial/retail. There'll be public access. Our goal, Lieutenant Governor, is to have a walkway start at that General Edwards Bridge and connect all the way to the MDC Rotary. This, and I'm born and raised here, this land has never been utilized, ever. We want people to be able to walk down there, enjoy the waterfront, be able to shop, be able to live there. We want mixed-use development for sure.
And are we, I mean, the state and our economic development entities, are we doing everything we need to help you kind of market that and tell that story?
Yeah, I should have really plugged Secretary Byler, because he really has championed our cause. It's a priority development under your leadership. So everything is, every aspect of this is ready for development to occur. Everything is done.
I think the commuter boat will help that, expedite that along, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good. Are there any other questions? Okay, we'll go to take a motion to approve phase 3. Second. Seconded. All in favor? Those so voted. Phase 3, $3,227,000 to keep the project moving. All right. Next, we have the Gloucester Harbor Plan and DPA Master Plan Renewal, $125,000. Mayor Carolyn Kirk, City of Gloucester.
On behalf of Mayor Carolyn Kirk, I'm Sarah Garcia, her Harbor Planning Director. Here to speak to you this morning and to members of the council. We are delighted to be here to be moving forward on a renewal of our harbor plan. If you'll recall, the Seaport has been working with us over the last 4 to 5 years on an economic development process for the city of Gloucester. It's been very exciting, both with funding we started with an economic development plan. We started identifying not just the fishery, but the visitor-based economy, both of which are substantial in Gloucester, but opening a new world of what is the maritime economy, what does it look like. We were lucky enough to get partnership as well from both the state and the federal Economic Development Administration. And the summit that we held last November really opened a wide world to us about what does it look like to be doing work on the ocean in the 21st century. The federal government is setting up observation platforms across our coast, both coasts, 24/7 real-time monitoring. Several of the reports that have been done over the last 5 years about what is the future of oceans says that this marine research and technology is not an evolutionary change, it's a disruptive change. There's new partnerships. People are thinking about how we move forward in different ways. So we want to partner with that. We have a lot of assets in Gloucester. It's a working port north of Boston, and we're making those linkages. Today we, for the first time, host the Marine and Oceanographic Technology Network on the north side of Boston, looking for what are those linkages between the research institutions in Boston and our working ports. We thank the Seaport Council for bringing us so far with this. We also have a harbor walk that's coming to completion this summer, which is a key part of making our waterfront accessible and appealing to research and launching expeditions. So today we're asking for $125,000. As you know, statutorily we're required to update our harbor plan before the end of the year. So we'll be doing that in the context of what do these new uses look like on the waterfront and how we move that forward. And so I thank you for your support so far and your support today.
Thank you, Sarah. Any questions on Gloucester? Mayor Driscoll's motion to approve. Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. $125,000 for the harbor plan and DPA master plan renewal for Gloucester.
Thank you so much,
Sarah.
Lieutenant Governor.
Mayor Driscoll, Laney Street Wharf, Phase 3. We're into a lot of Phase 3s, which is great. Thanks for getting stuff done.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I was here earlier in the year, maybe it was last year actually, with Senator McGee and Jim Cowdell taking a look at this site. And although I missed the boat, it's exciting certainly to see Lynn's progress. I know everyone's working hard to try and reactivate the harbor. I always say the harbor, there's no potholes in the harbor, so it's great to be able to invest in something that we know is going to serve us for so long. I'm really excited to be here this morning to talk about our Salem Wharf project. We've got 3 elements of funding as part of today's request. It's really a continuation and an expansion of our work on Salem Wharf. And most importantly, it will leverage approximately $2.4 million of federal ferry discretionary funding. One of the best parts about being a member of the Seaport Council and being able to access these funds, Lieutenant Governor, is how much they leverage in additional dollars, either private or public from other sources. And dare I say, without the funding we've received from the Seaport Council, we would not have a ferry, we would not have an active wharf, we would not have a plan for cruise ships and reactivating our waterfront. We would not have a big piece of our economic well-being going forward in Salem. So I just want to make sure folks here, and I know you recognize how critical these dollars are and how grateful we are. It's not only about our short-term economic gain and what these dollars do, but certainly long-term, especially with the closure of the power plant and all the things that are happening in our economy in Salem and the North Shore. Going back to our roots, reinvesting in the harbor is just critical. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to run through quickly. There's a board here. I think all of the members at the table have a copy of this plan as well. One element of the funding is to complete sort of round 2 of our landside improvements where Salem Wharf, also known as Delaney Street, is located. It will enhance the ferry pedestrian access. It will allow us to extend the pier an additional 100 feet, and it will have site improvements, things like landscaping, final pavement striping, all of our handicap accessibility requirements, and we're very hopeful this will help us leverage, again, a piece of federal funding under ferry discretionary work. We're also looking for $1 million to assist us with dredging. Long ago, if you wanted dredging money, you went to the federal government, and there was a queue, you got hit up, and eventually you check all the boxes off and be able to access substantial dollars to help with dredging. But that's been gone for a really long time. And so it's really critical the Seaport stepped in to fill a big void for many of us who have very active waterways, but for dredging and depth availability, they're not as usable. I know New Bedford and Fall River and Gloucester have in the past received funding for dredging. So this will be a piece for us, will allow us to have dredge depths to accommodate even larger ferries, allow our ferries to turn around, excursion and visiting vessels, certainly something we're hoping to attract more of, and obviously coastal cruise ships. Adding to both the pier and doing the additional dredging will open up the market that we have for cruise ships and dovetails, frankly, so nicely with our existing hospitality and tourism industry in Salem. The last piece is an expansion. It's the blue kind of outline on your map. Because of Dominion's closing, the Salem Harbor Station will no longer be owned by Dominion. It's in the process process of being sold. It opens up 62 acres of industrial land right on the waterfront. It's unlikely it will still remain a coal manufacturing or a coal generating power plant. There are opportunities to buy it, to look at other uses. But one thing they have that's critical infrastructure is a large commercial pier. And what excites us about that is the opportunity to have cruise ships actually tie up there, much like the large cargo vessels have done for many, many years, going back to 1950. The problem is it's a pier that is meant for cargo, not passengers, unloading coal, so it needs some upgrades. But more importantly, trying to get people from that pier, which is literally, a stone's throw away from Blaney Street and the ferry site where 100,000 passengers, routinely come through on an annual basis, is going to require some work. So we've asked for $150,000 to help us use this site as an access way for pedestrians. So you could get off at that pier and walk to Blaney Street, go through all your Coast Guard security planning, your entryway where we already have a terminal building. It's meant to receive visitors, and this $150,000 will allow for some of the work. It's actually not that much work that needs to be done in terms of making it a passable walkway for visitors and others. Very exciting to us. It certainly opens up the possibility of using that pier, substantial built, and certainly can accommodate larger vessels on a more regular basis. Even when the coal plant was operating in its heyday, every day very active, there was one coal ship a week that came into that facility. So certainly as it runs down in 2014, it will officially be closed. There's an opportunity to partner and use that pier for other things beyond just cargo ships, and we hope cruise ships, visiting vessels, and things like that. And now we'll have a safe way to get people there. So that's what our request is, and appreciate your consideration. I certainly can answer any questions as well.
So yeah. Mayor?
That's it. Yeah.
I think people are keeping everyone clammed up. Is there a motion to approve Mayor Driscoll's request for Blaney Street Wharf Phase 3, $1.75 billion? Motion? Second? Refusal from Mr. Havlicek. In favor, opposed, so voted. Motion seconded by Mr. Viola. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. All right. Thank you, Mayor Driscoll. With that, we'll have a report from the Executive Secretary, Louis Alisa. And just before I turn over to Louis, I just want to acknowledge Colonel Gross, who's here from the Environmental Police. And we want to acknowledge the good work that they're doing. Hopefully through this budgetary process, you'll get some more officers which are needed because everyone else has been impacted by the budget. But thank you for the important work, and it's a busy season for you as we get into summer. And Commissioner Lambert was just here. He was in Lynn today, but he's busy as we get the pools and beaches and parks open. But he just stopped by to say hello, and we get a lot of support with the Seaport Council from DCR, people like Mike and others. So I want to acknowledge that Commissioner Lambert was in. Louis.
Thank you to the governor. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting us. I want to say a very special thanks to court professionals who have now been meeting quite more frequently than we have in the past. In short notice, we come together and they've made great recommendations, and we've gotten great projects from these cities and towns. I just want to note it's been a scant 2 months, maybe 2.5 months since our last meeting in Situate, in which we approved 5 other projects. The Seaport Council is continuing to grow, and the Lieutenant Governor says Phase 3 denotes that we're actually getting some things done, and I think that's the most important point. I need to point out that the Patrick Murray administration has been effective, and they get it done and do it right attitude, and it's been a very, very meaningful along the coastline. You can look and see in almost every city and town in which we've had a project, it's come to completion. They don't linger for a long time. We want to continue this, and we plan to continue this in this partnership that we have. Our great partners in this process, of course, is DCR. And I already mentioned Mike, but I want Mike to stand up so you understand that we get things done because they work with us. Continuation, we have members here from Coastal Zone Management, which is partners with the Seaport Council, and between them and the work that we have and the support that we get from the environmental police and of course, Captain Cuneo down in New Bedford. Each of these people are partners, and what I want to stress here is just a partnership. It works, and I want that to continue because the communication and working together. When we have issues, they don't last very long because whether it's dredging or fisheries or whatever it is, we're able to communicate. So in the future, if you have a project and you want to bring it forward, our partners are there. If you have to go to them first, you can start with them. It eventually gets back to us. The most important part about the Seaport Advisory Council, we're looking forward to the future. And so part of what we're doing now is working with the new Maritime Compact. We're looking at greater and bigger benefits for our coastline. We're looking at the opportunities that the maritime community is going to grow, and that we're going to have a maritime highway once again. We had one before the First World War, so the short sea shipping concept is coming back only because the demand is coming into our society. And one of the things that we can say about every one of these projects, this is sustainable growth. These are projects that, one, enhance the maritime community, allows for access, and enhances the maritime work in terms of there's room for fisheries, and there's room for fish and water-related projects. It also takes in the opportunity that there's other growth that can take place at our water's edge. And because of that partnership and that working relationship that we have, I think that the future for the coastline and for the coastline of Massachusetts in particular is going to be greater and brighter than it's ever been before. And I thank you all for your support.
Just an opportunity to make a plug. The leadership of Chairman McGee chairs the Senate Transportation Committee. Governor Secretary Davey and our team. Speaker DeLeo made some similar comments on the radio just on that last day or two. I just wanted to listen and ask for the support of your voice beginning next January, and even prior to that. We're going to be having a discussion statewide about how we fund our transportation network for the next 10 to 15 years. We've been kind of in crisis management. We've instituted reform before revenue, helping to bring out significant savings and efficiencies which our taxpayers deserve. But if we're going to really promote the type of economic development we want for our cities and our regions, our towns, we need to fund appropriately strategic transportation initiatives and just ongoing operations of existing transportation networks. I often say the transportation system is the enabling network of our economy. It allows people and goods to get to where they need to be. And one of the things that I'm most proud of our team is that when we talk about transportation in the Patrick Murray administration, we get the support from people like Tom McGee and Chairman Strauss on the House side. We talk about it comprehensively, holistically. It's not just roads and airports, but it's roads, rail, bridges, and our maritime infrastructure with nearly 3,000 miles of coastline in Massachusetts. It is a huge part of our economy, fishing, travel and tourism. It is an increasingly transportation opportunities, and we see that here in Lynn vividly and personal. So we need you to weigh in on that voice. We're going to have to find a way to fund that going forward, and when people understand the potential and what it can mean for where they live and work, I think that important adult bipartisan conversation that we need to have can actually progress. So we're going to need your help in that effort. So thank you.
Before we close out, Derek could not have this meeting, we would not be here without the leadership support of our Director of Administration, Ellen Spooler. Where's Ellen? So she's the first voice you usually hear, but please recognize we can't get this done without.
So with that, we will conclude the meeting of the Seaport Advisory Council. There is anything anybody here wants to say, add, or question? With that, we will close it out, and we're going to have our ribbon cutting of Phase 2 and progress to work on Phase 3. Thank you.